Hello, my name is Chloe Wood. The date is 18 May 2022. I'm with my mother, Leslie Nulty, who is going to play the role of my client, Helen. We are now going to role play a counselling session between myself as counsellor and Helen, the client. Good morning, Helen. It's lovely to see you again. Last session we talked through our contract, and then you told me that you wanted to talk in our sessions about how you were feeling about driving. How is that?
Well, I have no confidence at all in driving. If I even think about driving, it upsets me.
And you were involved in an accident, weren't you, Helen?
Yes, oh, this is so difficult. It was in May of last year, which seems a long time ago, but like yesterday. And I went to the Trafford Centre to meet some friends for lunch, and we had sushi, we had a wander round. It was a lovely afternoon, and not anything unusual at all. But then I was driving home, and that's when I had the accident.
Oh, Helen, I'm so sorry to hear that you went through this. What we're going to do, if it's okay with you, Helen, is we're going to talk through the accident itself and how that made you feel at the time. So, could you start by telling me about the accident itself, please?
Yes. As I say, we'd been to the Trafford Centre, had lunch, and I was on my way home. It wasn't a very sunny day, but it wasn't raining or anything, and I have to come off to get to my house at the Bury turn off from the motorway. It was quite busy because that motorway is always busy, and I pulled off at the Bury junction, and as I did so, a van, I think it was a blue van, came into my lane. There were 2 lanes at the junction at that point, and then it becomes 3 or 4. I can't remember whether it's 3 or 4, but a lot more lanes, and without notice he just pulled across into my lane, and that's when the accident happened, and he hit me at the front side of my car, and I just thought I saw it as if it was going to happen, and then heard a massive bang, and I thought my car's going to explode and it's just going to be a fireball. So obviously the car stopped, and I got out straight away without thinking about the traffic around me. I phoned my husband straight away, and he came and got me.
And were you injured in the accident, Helen?
Not really injured, no, it would be wrong to say I was. But I was very, very shaken, and I just kept shaking and shaking, I suppose, the shock of what had happened. And my husband drove me home, and I don't even remember the journey. And then I just couldn't control the shaking. It was just awful.
And you told me last time, Helen, that you had some bad dreams after the accident. How often were you having those?
Well, at first it was at least two or 3 times a week. Then as time progressed, I only had them because I haven't been driving, and so I think that helped. And now I do still have the dreams, but maybe only once a week. But they're always dreams where it's the same scenario, and only the outcome is even worse.
Oh, Helen, that sounds terrible to experience. You said you haven't been able to drive since the accident. Have you been in a car at all since the accident?
I have been in a car, with my husband driving, with my friends driving as well. They've been very kind. They've picked me up and taken me to places. And basically, I'm just a terrible passenger because of the accident. I always feel like an accident is about to happen. I see cars pull over and I even act as if I'm braking the car, or I hold on to the side, and so it makes it a really unpleasant journey for those with me.
Right. And you said to me before that you felt like the accident was your fault and that you're a bad driver. Can you tell me why you feel like this?
That's a good question. Why do I feel it was my fault? I suppose because if I'd been a better driver, I might have seen something that I didn't see and the accident would never have happened. So it must have been my fault. And I've even thought, have I always been a bad driver and not really realised it? And so is that why the accident actually happened? Is it a sign that I shouldn't be driving because I might crash and hurt someone else? Or goodness knows.
Do you think that anyone who has an accident is a bad driver?
Well, no, not really. I mean, I'm sure some people are bad drivers, but I just feel that I feel that way about me, not about other people. I feel that I'm the bad driver in all of this.
If your friend had an accident, Helen, would you think that they shouldn't try to drive again?
No, if it was any of my friends, I know them so well, and I would probably advise them that they should drive again. But that's not worked for me. I've not been able to say that to myself.
Has the driver, I think you said it was a blue van, did the driver's insurance company admit responsibility for the accident?
Yes, they admitted liability. They dealt with everything. He made a phone call straight away. They came and collected my car. They took it to the insurance place that my company said was right, because my husband phoned straight away to my insurers, and so they dealt with it all for me. And I even had a loan car, although it just stood on the drive, it was never used.
Right. Do you think that insurance companies would make a payment in respect of a claim if they thought the person was to blame?
Maybe. I think maybe, yes, they do sometimes, just to stop it all. And you know, I don't think it's anything to do with me being a bad driver that they have paid for everything. I think it's just how they work it, how insurance works.
Okay. So if I said to you that the fact that they've paid for that claim means they decided that you weren't to blame for the accident, does that make you feel any differently?
Ooh. I suppose with my logical head on, it must do, mustn't it? I would say to anyone else, yes, that must be the case. But still I have that awful feeling that I can't shake off, that it is all my fault.
Okay. And before the accident, what did you use your car for?
Well, all the usual things. I've always used my car a lot. I've never even thought twice. Going to shopping, nipping out to the shops if I ran out of things, going to meet my friends, and of course that's all changed because now it's always me depending on someone else to give me a lift, and they have to pick me up, and so it's a real nightmare for them too.
Right. So you've told me all about the accident, which I know is really difficult, so you've done really, really well with that, Helen. And you've told me how it made you feel and how you're currently feeling about driving. what we're going to do in the next sessions is to work together on getting you driving again. Is that something you would like, Helen?
I would like to, yes. I don't know if it's even possible, if you can do it, but it helps me that you think maybe there is a chance that we can get to that point.
I think there's more than a chance, Helen, that we can get you driving again. What we're going to do is we're going to break it down into smaller parts. So, can you tell me, Helen, if you were going to go out in a car before the accident, what would you have done?
Well, everyone does. I would have got my shoes and coat on, got my keys off the side, locked the car up, locked the house up, got it into the car, started the engine, everything that you normally do, and without thinking, automatically.
Yeah, okay. Do you think you could maybe do those things for me? I don't want you to start the car and start moving, but do you think that maybe I'd say try to go for twice in the next week before I see you again? Do you think there's a possibility that you could get your shoes on, get your keys from the side, as you said, go out to the car, get in, put your seatbelt on, turn on the engine, and then turn it off again, and breathe in and out calmly, and then get out of the car and go back into the house? Do you think you could do that for me, Helen?
Do you know, I've never even thought about trying to do what you've just described, because I thought, if I'm not driving, what's the point going and getting in the car? But when you describe it as you have, I think it's something maybe that I could do, and it might just help and start us on a journey.
I'm sure that you can do it, Helen.